I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. They know me where it snows, I see me from. I don't know no nothing, but no ice, I'm just all for the sun. Suffer so. I'm in my prime, but this ain't even final form. They run me down, but still my feet ain't come slow. I'll be from the girl, gold out door. Life's fire, but trust I'm ready for more. This is how this world goes. This is how this world goes. I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. They know me where it snows, I see the attack. I don't know no nothing, but no ice, I'm just home for the sun. Where's my problem? That's why I blame Mo and John Mo. See how the United States.
I got this! I complete my fucking quest! Fuck. Level 27.
Smash through the ceiling, but I'm reaching for the stars. This is how the story goes. This is how I'm in the thick of it, everybody. They know me where it snows, I see the attack. I don't know no nothing, but no ice, I'm just home for the sun. Stuff so happy. I'm just cruising by my own. They catch me out, let me forget it. My faith in God, mine in the sun. I'm in the thick of it, everybody. They know me where it snows, I see the I don't know no nothing, but no ice, I'm just home for the sun. Stuff so happy. I'm in
There's an airplane. I found out where the airplane is located. There's only one airplane. A helicopter. There's a helicopter on this fucking map. There's only one. I know where it's located. But it got fucking vaulted after just one fucking day. It's fucking bullshit. Pretty sure a helicopter was right there and they vaulted it.
everybody. They know me where it snows, I see but no ice, I'm just sun.
Moe?
really use your help.
This is serious.
Is something distracting?
The ancestors are...
Transformers 1 is the shit. Never in my life. Transformers 1 is the shit. Never in my life did I expect a Transformers movie to be genuinely fantastic. I expected more Michael Bayisms with explosions and sweaty Shia on crack.
I know you're freaking out. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Easy fix. Puzzle code in my head. Now it's on the walls. Everything is good.
But the most recent film is absolutely amazing. This video will cover how one scene, one beautiful, amazing, magical scene, is absolutely perfect and encapsulates everything these characters and worlds mean to millions of people. Spoilers, obviously. Let's set the stage. Orion Banks and D16 go on an adventure to the surface of their home planet Cybertron to find the Matrix of Leadership, a relic capable of saving their dying civilization, which is also currently being invaded by an alien empire called the Quintessons. They want to find the Matrix to give to Sentinel Prime, who they think is the last of Cybertron, but were thought to have been killed in the invasion. They found a cave where the last surviving member of the original Primes was still barely alive, and found Sentinel giving away the energon their people need to survive to the Quintessons, all because Sentinel is a fake Prime who wanted to live like a king after having killed the Primes himself. The gang gets the power to transform, using the transformation cogs from the fallen Primes. They find a group of freedom fighters, and they're all ambushed by Sentinel's forces, with D16 and B getting captured, and Orion and Alita being left behind under the assumption that they had died. Of course, with the established character of Orion being a relentless optimist, they mount a rescue mission and a rebellion against Sentinel. Now this is where stuff gets juicy, because D16 idolized Megatronus Prime, the strongest of the Primes, who Sentinel stole the transformation cog of. Sentinel, being a sadistic bastard, fucking branded D16 in the face of Megatronus, but Orion arrived just in time to prevent D's execution. E, Alita, and Orion managed to expose Sentinel's betrayal of Helen, passing it out for D. This is where we get the scene in question. D16 has Sentinel cornered, running in his crossfire. Orion steps in to prevent Sentinel from facing justice. Oh, wait, that's not what actually happened. But that's how D saw everything. He saw the man who destroyed his life, caused untold suffering to millions, the bot who mutilated him and tortured him personally, and Orion stopped the execution of this monster? Funny how the last time we saw Sentinel down on the ground begging for mercy, we saw our hero gun him down point blank. But here, Orion stopped D from killing Cybertron's greatest traitor. He said the one thing that set D16 off. We're better than this. Don't be like Sentinel. Orion is both true, but also the worst possible thing Orion could have said. He snaps, kicking Orion to the side, ready to kill Sentinel. But Orion leaps in the way. D16 grabs Orion, not wanting his best friend to die. But he remembered how Orion was always the one getting in trouble. Orion always thought he was right. Orion was always in need of saving. Their friendship was doomed from the start. From that first scene, D protected Orion from arrest. If it wasn't for him, that set D16 off. We're better than this. Don't be like Sentinel. A line that's both true, but also the worst possible thing Orion could have said. D snaps, kicking Orion to the side, ready to kill Sentinel. But Orion leaps in the way. D16 grabs Orion, not wanting his best friend to die, but he remembered how Orion was always the one getting in trouble. Orion always thought he was right. Orion was always in need of saving. Their friendship was doomed from the start. From that first scene when D protected Orion from arrest. If it wasn't for him, D wouldn't be in this mess. D could have lived a normal life. But how normal was his life when he was really a slave without knowing it? This was the point of no return. I'm done saving you. No longer was D16 playing someone else's game. No longer was he a slave to the system. No longer was he saving others. Orion fell to his death, falling down to the core of Cybertron itself. Crosscut with D16 slaughtering Sentinel's guards, presented visually as the rise of D16 and the fall of Orion Pax. Orion sacrificed himself for a traitor because he had hope for a better future. But D16 slaughtered the traitors because of how he was hurt in the past. D16 rips Sentinel in half, violently rips Megatronus' transformation cog from Sentinel's chest, declaring himself the new leader of Cybertron by force, as Orion is brought before Primus himself, the god of his species, and the being that became their planet itself. The spirits of the Prime stand before Orion, Primus gifting the Matrix of Leadership to Orion, a token of his heroism. The editing here is brilliant, cutting back and forth between the two very important moments for each character. The entire film building to this one moment. In particular, I think Megatron using the transformation cog of Megatron this is significant, since it shows that he wants the power and status of being a Prime, but disregards that it's actually a responsibility to others, not something to be enjoyed and used in self-service. D16 transforms before a crowd of people, loudly proclaiming, an Alpha Trion christening Orion Pax. Optimus Prime. This was never actually the rise of D16 and the fall of Orion Pax. This was the fall of Megatron and the rise of Optimus Prime. One driven by power and status, by hatred and vengeance, by a fear of deception. The other guided by peace and honor, by love and justice, by a hope for a bright future. This one scene encapsulates everything these characters represent, the most refined versions of their characterization I have seen in years. The scene is Optimus Prime in the 1986 Transformers movie when Orion dies, but also the theme of the Primes from Transformers Prime, when Optimus is born. Almost a thematic way of uniting Transformers fans of all generations. I can't play it due to copyright, but I'll link the song in the description. It perfectly captures every emotion, from horror to beauty to rage and hope. This all helps hammer home the point of the film. Where do these characters come from? Inherently, a leader with hope and respect is going to be better than one driven by hatred. And everything to do with Megatron's fall is narratively justified with his characterization. His life was completely destroyed. He saw his friend as the cause of it. He never wanted to trust any form of authority after having someone he respected turn out to be such a monster. So after all this compounded, he intended on ruling Cybertron his own way. Optimus Prime, on the other hand, is someone who always wanted to help, always wanted to build a better world, always wanted to do the right thing. Was he flawless? No. He was occasionally deceitful, immature, a little bit inconsiderate of other perspectives, but he was always driven by a desire to do the right thing. His faults fed into the fall of Megatron, and he came out of that experience a changed bot. This movie is heartbreakingly beautiful, and I'm furious it didn't do well at the box office. How did Paramount screw up their trailer so badly? Seriously, if this doesn't get a sequel, I'm betraying the species. Anyways, that's it for this video. I never thought I'd make a Transformers video, but here we are. My autistic hyperfixations finally forced my hand.
Ask my Bumble match to pick a number at random. Let's see what she got.
As I was getting ready.
Funding for Shape Realist is provided by Squarespace, the sponsor of today's video. Okay, normally I don't review things when people ask me to do it excessively, because that's annoying, and I don't like to reward bad behavior. But Marcus did a little review of the movie, which means I'm the last of the apparently big three who hasn't done one yet. So at this point, I kinda have to, right? Okay, this is the one time I'll do a highly requested review. This is never gonna happen again. You got it? I'm not reviewing the bad guys unless you get my second channel, Shape Classic, to 100,000 subscribers before the end of December. You have less than 3 months, so you better get on that. Transformers 1 is a movie that I thought looked cool. Conceptually and animation-wise, that is. I didn't really care much for the humor in the trailer, which seems to be a common sentiment. But I also didn't really feel like I needed to check it out right away, because I don't care about Transformers. That's not meant to be an insult to the brand. I never grew up with Transformers, and the only things I've seen are the live-action Michael Bay movies. I hope that fully explains why I'm not really into Transformers. I mean, Bumblebee was pretty okay, but aside from that, yeah, really a series I ever had any interest in. Fortunately, this is a great movie for people who don't care about Transformers, because it's a fantastic depiction of this world, with a really interesting story to boot. I'm a sucker for that best friends turned mortal enemies writing trope, and this movie delivers that in spades with a really intense and compelling villain arc for Megatron. Definitely my favorite character in the movie. I think his turn makes a lot of sense, and he's got some great, dramatically potent scenes in this. Brian Tyree Henry gives a really strong and committed vocal performance. I have to give Chris Hemsworth a ton of props as well for really disappearing into his role as Optimus Prime. He starts out as normal Chris Hemsworth with an American accent, which was very disorienting to hear. But then as the movie progresses, he starts to sound like the Optimus Prime we know, and it's a really satisfying transformation to hear. Hemsworth is really having a banger year between this and Furiosa, showing that he's a damn actor, and not just a pointless celebrity. You know, like Scarlett Johansson and Keegan-Michael Key were in this. Yeah, I didn't really like their performances that much. And while we're at it, Bumblebee is the only character I didn't really enjoy. His jokes very rarely worked for me, and that's most of the character. And while we're mentioning that, the movie's jokes in general were not that good. I maybe chuckled once or twice, and that was about it. Most of the humor is stuff you can see coming from a mile away. Like a character says, "They're not gonna fire you," and then another character immediately comes in and says, "You're fired." Look, I get it. That would be really funny if I was 8 years old. But, like, I don't know, man. Animated movies for kids can also be actually funny for adults. Ah, well. As much as the humor didn't really...
Ever since we first saw that helicopter transform into Blackout in Michael Bay's Transformers, ever since we first saw that helicopter transform into Blackout in Michael Bay's Transformers, Optimus, Megatron, and the gang have never strayed too far from the limelight. Since 2007, if you can believe it, there have been 8 films, countless video games, and enough toys sold that moms and dads will be tripping over the plastic for decades to come. The giant robots that turn into trucks and back into robots are a cultural mainstay that appeal to children and adults alike. And when they get it right, dude, it's fun as hell. I love Transformers for what it is. Despite its titular preoccupation with radical state change, Transformers is a franchise that, more often than not, has failed to transform into something truly befitting of its incredibly fun franchise. The idea that interplanetary robots waging a war of cosmic stakes, good versus evil, but living among us in consumer-grade machinery is pretty undeniable. I mean, there's a lot of really interesting things you can do with that premise. Don't get me wrong, there are some great entries in the franchise. The first film, for example, is an excellent Spielbergian boy and his car story that blooms into an era-defining VFX spectacle. And you know what? Transformers 3 is great. Transformers 4, I have a soft spot for. Transformers The Last Night is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but, you know, you can't win them all. And then even further down the line, Bumblebee managed to rein things in after a period of unwieldy success for an even more intimate and surprisingly emotional Amblin-esque coming-of-age tale. Quality aside, I will always be there for Transformers. I'm always eager to see what these robots are up to. But it should be noted that for every sturdy entry, there's the bloat of, again, The Last Night or the weird Rise of the Beasts film that just, I don't know what the hell they were doing there. It's something that prioritizes VFX bravura over compelling characters and engaging stories. There are sights to behold. Maximals, Anthony Hopkins do...
What is this? Mysterious.
Tied? If it's got to be clean, it's got to be tied.
doing God knows what. And that really fucking annoying robot cognitive look there.
Look.
But there's little to hold on to outside of that nonsense. At their best, these films are a reliable four-door saloon. And you know what? That's great. We all need that sometimes. They get you where you want to go. But wouldn't it be cool if that sedan's gears started to whir as it folded in on itself before emerging a bipedal mechanical warrior that kicks fucking ass? Well, I've got great news for you. Transformers 1 is that film. It's the best Transformers film, period. And the highest the series has soared since Bumblebee. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. I mean, look, I was maybe considering doing a video on this film, but it wasn't until this guy, Transformers hype guy, started just going to town marketing this film because the studio failed to do so and really just earnestly getting people excited about what's genuinely a very good movie. I mean, I had to make this video solely to shout this guy out among, about a bunch of different things. But if nothing else, man, Transformers hype guy is the man. You're probably the reason we're going to get a sequel to this movie, despite a relatively lukewarm box office on top thanks to his poor marketing. Some of the worst trailers. I mean, genuinely, some of the stupidest trailers I've seen in a minute. But, the strong reviews from critics and then this incredibly persistent word of mouth. Like, it's just cool to see this movie become what it's become because of this grassroots movement, because of someone like Transformers hype guy. I mean, God, I'm just going to shout him out. I'm going to keep shouting him out because he's the reason you're getting this video and he's the reason that we're going to get a Transformers. The moral of the story is I hope Paramount is paying this guy what he deserves because, good Lord, he's doing everything that's... The early marketing for the film suggested a relatively stock whip-led kiddie riff on a beloved IP, and the trailers made me think we were in for a ride, but I've never been happier to be wrong. You may recall from my review of Transformers Rise of the Beasts that I likened Bumblebee to X-Men First Class, and its back-to-basics reinvention of an IP know and love. I liken the Transformers franchise to the X-Men franchise. And while that remains true of Bumblebee, it is even more true of Transformers.
Sent Miles back to his fucking universe.
Love this franchise, you need to see this film because you're going to want more. Transformers 1 represents the first time since the repopularization of the franchise in the mid-early 2000s that the focus has been shifted from pure action spectacle, often relegating emotional beats exclusively to the human characters, to a story that seeks to understand battle-hardened bots we've seen depicted in countless media. Does this sound a little silly? Sure, but fortunately the film is helmed by an excellent filmmaker whose career began at a studio that knows how to alchemize silliness into pure art. Pixar. Josh Cooley previously directed Toy Story 4, a film that I love entirely too much. It's probably my favorite Toy Story. And co-wrote Inside Out is uniquely equipped to find a new way into material that had begun to feel tired. He wants to deliver the spectacle and thrills associated with the franchise, never shortchanging the Saturday morning cartoon spirit that animates the best of its films, but he first wants to earn these pleasures by investing the audience first and foremost in its characters. With Transformers 1, you'll find yourself unexpectedly engaging in the thoughts and feelings of robots who are often treated as action figures or dimensionless archetypes. While the decade of Michael Bay Transformers films used the collision of machinery as a spectacular backdrop for stock human drama, Josh Cooley is much more interested in what's under the hood. With Transformers 1, for arguably the first time in franchise history, there's more than meets the eye. Speaking of more than meets the eye, FilmSpeak viewers at first glance may seem like just a bunch of handsome film geniuses, but I know you're also secretly hungry to learn even more. And you can do that in an easy and palatable way with this video sponsor, Brilliant. You know, you love them. They've been a great sponsor on this channel before. It's for good reason, because I genuinely love them. They're one of my favorite platforms out there, specifically for learning new skills, because it's designed to be effective for each individual that uses it. Brilliant might not have a course on how to fold up into a Dodge Charger, but they have recently launched a ton of equally as valuable and fun courses on collecting data, all of which use real-world data to train you to see trends and make better informed decisions, which is what we want at the end of the day. This content is perfect for learners of any level to start or continue learning data analysis with a fully built-out suite of new content from Bayes' theorem to multiple linear regression. Learn how to parse and visualize massive data sets to make them easier to interpret. Gain insights by working with real data sets from sources like Starbucks, Twitter, Spotify, and more. And if all of this sounds like sophisticated scientific speak, like, for example, the physics that govern advanced transforming me, don't worry. Brilliant's courses are simple, straightforward, and always easy to understand. Each course welcomes learners at every level and teaches you the specified skill set in a way that's both engaging and interactive to help you learn the things, you actually want to learn. Brilliant helps you build as well as receive. In Michael Bay's always for being an amazing sponsor of this video. Let's start where Josh Cooley wants to start. The beginning. Back before Transformers ventured the Earth, the real beginning. In Michael Bay's Transformers, we get an exposition dump, and we just take the broad strokes of the property for granted. There's a cube that is very powerful, and there are two opposing factions, the Autobots and Decepticons, warring for control. The issue here is that beyond good and evil, leader and followers, there's little effort made to distinguish these machines from each other or root the story in a relatable conflict in a way that truly invests an audience. With Transformers 1, the first priority is meaningful table setting so that by the time we reach the expected thrills of the franchise, we're invested enough to care about the outcome for each individual. And What better way to invest in the individual than in a story about labor? Yeah, you heard that right. Not since Monsters, Inc. has an animated film so handedly taken on Marxist alienation and exploitative labor practice. This, Transformers 1, is a pro-union film, which fucking rules because of, all the really exploitative practices that have been going on in this industry for a while. This is honestly incredible. I love Transformers 1. We are treated to a Cybertron with a ruling class and an army of miners below their boots laboring away to produce energon to power their world. To cast it in fittingly robotic terms, the citizens are cogs in a machine without basic sentient rights. Some take this for granted, and others wonder if there's a better world that's...
Okay, that time you definitely sent me to voicemail. You are gonna feel so bad when you finally listen to these. But I'm sure whatever you're doing is much more important than having a final conversation with your sister. I disbanded the Underground. But if you want the Underground to stay gone, you're going to have to invite them to the table. You've got a lot of rebuilding to do. Don't do it alone. Nisha can help. The Underground are good people. They hate you, so right there you know they've got good judgment. I set up a meeting. The rest is up to you. Do the right thing this time. I know you will.
Yes, sir. Fucking sniper. Sniper god is back. Who shot that fucking sniper? Hurry the fuck up. I think we're getting sniped. Was it them who shot the fucking sniper? I heard someone shoot a sniper. Get the fuck here. It's coming. We should get high ground. Up there. Let's go get fucking high ground, boy. Let's go! Hold on, don't fucking die, bro. Get the fuck down here, nigga. We're in the fucking circle. Fuck down here before they come here. Oh my fucking god. Garbage.
Serves the interests not only of the ruling class, but the workers as well. The society is broken down into transformers and miners. The aforementioned can, transform and occupy a higher status in society. Meanwhile, the miners are merely bipedal robots with a single trade function. This dichotomy makes for a genuinely interesting social context in which to situate the ensemble. We very quickly understand the world these characters occupy and understand their basic needs and sense of injustice. Amazing what a little world building can do, opening up a whole other commentary that was perhaps there from the beginning but given new meaning here. As I mentioned earlier, this is X-Men First Class with Transformers. By taking this approach, we're not only granted the opportunity to learn about Optimus Prime, individual, and the things that make him an effective and inspiring leader, we're granted the same for Megatron. There's only so much satisfaction one can glean from a story where the bad guy is bad simply because basic cinematic conflict requires an antagonist. We need to understand the arc and justification of their ideals. In a best-case scenario, we can empathize.
Try new game Relax Plays 10-cent beats for twice the vibes. Oh no, no Oreo snack cake. Yes.
With their values and disillusion, ultimately siding with the protagonist only because their approach seeks to minimize the collateral damage to innocence. And Transformers 1 nails it. We're shown in Optimus Prime and Megatron both reacting to the same injustice, but driven to polar solutions. In a story like this, you might expect for the good guy to be a diligent follower of the rules and the bad guy to be rebel, but Transformers 1 is not interested in such obvious characterization. Orion Pax, or Optimus Prime as he'll later become, is a rebel, though generous of spirit. He's skeptical of leadership and process and feels limited by the lot he's been handed in life. It is clear to him that many of the rules that govern them come at the expense of their personhood, or, bothood, I guess. When we're introduced to him at the beginning of the film, he's breaking into an official archive to learn more about the Primes. What follows is an exciting chase where he narrowly evades capture when he fortunately runs into his best friend, D16, eventually become Megatron, who helps him escape. D16 is lost to the two otherwise ordinary miners, and this neatly establishes their dichotomy from the jump. Pax isn't hurting anyone, but he's certainly not interested in blindly following the rules. He has hope, which gives him an edge, and it is this hope that eventually inspires the rest of the Autobots. The thing I find so cool about this interpretation of Optimus Prime is that it refutes the traditional idea of being a straight, narrow, vaguely egotistical military leader. The war criminal who executed a bleeding Leonard Nimoy from behind after surrendering, ripped the face off the fallen while screaming, and ripped Megatron's spine out from his body, fucking Predator style, after the two had a semi-truce. Hey, look, I like the Bay films, but even I gotta admit, that's fucking psychotic behavior. Seeing Optimus as a grunt who has lived through hard labor at the beck and call of more powerful, if illegitimate, leaders gives him more credibility as a robot thrust into a position of authority, less through a desire for power and more out of necessity. His lifelong critical relationship with leadership figures is what informs his own eventual philosophy. When Bay's Optimus is in mortal danger, it's hard to register an emotional response beyond the utility of, oh no, the leader of the good guys is in danger. This does not bode well for the large-scale binary conflict. Again, this isn't inherently bad, but it's leaving opportunity on the table. This version is a lot more compelling. In contrast to Pax, D16 is a follower of rules who believes in the system to such a degree that its eventual unraveling shatters him. D is a slave to the system, the mind, believing that it has the workers' best interests in mind, and that if he works hard enough, he'll be promoted and change his circumstances through the formal channels. When Pax suggests they participate in a race designated only for a higher class of robot, D16 has no interest and only participates after Pax tricks him into his unflappable adherence to the rules would be an excellent characteristic within a just system, but no system is just, and this only sets him up for failure. Opposite Pax and D16 is the perfect antagonist in Sentinel Prime. We are introduced to Sentinel as the somewhat egotistical, though not evil, leader of Cybertron. He's responsible for the social hierarchies that relegate Pax and D16 to mines where they work. He ascended to leadership after cementing himself a war hero for fighting off a quintessent invasion and decides when robots receive their cogs. The key piece that goes in a chest socket and enables the power of transformation. He's playing God. However, through their journey, Pax and D16 learn that Sentinel is not a prime and is actually a puppet, a tool of the quintessence supplying them with the energon mined by Cybertron's working population. Cybertron had power and resources all along to sustain itself, but Sentinel saw the opportunity for power and was willing to oppress literally everyone else to pay off his blood debt. Perhaps most nefariously, we learned that the Transformer minor distinction was actually manufactured by Sentinel to oppress the laboring class. Pax and D16 believe that they have to earn the power to transform, but what we learn is that Sentinel has actually taken it from them. While this is a gutting realization for Pax, he has already realized that what makes the Transformer is not the literal cog that gives them their power, but the spark within that aspires to a better world. In short, his optimism. This realization galvanizes both Pax and D16, but in opposite directions. For Pax, it's an issue that can be corrected by dethroning Sentinel Prime and restoring power to the rule of Cybertron, while functioning as an appointed ruler for D16. It completely disassembles his worldview. If this is what a leader is capable of, he'll never be subservient again. However, his need to rule is born of greed and anger that transforms his body into a weapon, redirecting his pain as violence. The only solution he can see is the death. Most like Sentinel. He's someone who resents their place within the system and how those in power do nothing to change the status quo, and so decides to take power for himself because he's the only one he can trust to make use of that power. It's a cycle he can't see clearly enough to break. The line that Transformers 1 draws is ultimately much more interesting and nuanced than a simple good versus evil. It posits a conflict between hope and optimism, fear and pragmatism. D16 followed the rules and stayed in line, only to learn that the rule-making bodies were corrupt and could not be trusted. Rather than acknowledging the possibility of a bad egg and a bright future, he resolves to reject any leadership that could possibly
What the fuck?
break down and exploit its subjects, driving him to become the very thing he rejects. Megatron has never been this layered and nuanced and interesting in any iteration of Transformers, and I really got to shout out Josh Cooley for giving this character something meaty, for making him the highlight of the film. Optimus, on the other hand, sees the dark reality of the world as it has been, but believes in what it could be. Just because the system is broken doesn't mean that we can't build a better one. As you can see, this may be a kid's film, but it never sacrifices its integrity for the sake of dumbing itself down. It respects an audience of all ages and is much stronger for it. In addition to its central characters, Transformers 1 does an admirable job of balancing and developing its ensemble. In addition to Optimus and Megatron, RC and B are given significantly more dimension than ever before. RC is shown to be more capable than Prime and in a position of power when we find her, but that power is fragile, and especially given the fact that she's a woman, is easily discredited by her superiors, as we see in the film. She tries to hold on to what she has, which is why she adheres strictly to protocol. But because she, kind of like Megatron but less delusional, believes that her ability will eventually grant her the freedom and respect she wants. After spending time with Optimus and initially skeptical of what she perceives to be a foolish streak of rebellion, she comes to realize that maybe the only way to Emick does a great job of demonstrating one of Optimus' best character traits in this film: the ability to surround himself with people whose talents and abilities he respects and knows how to utilize in service of a greater good. He is a natural leader because of how he pulls the spark that exists within every Autobot out of them. He even tries to do the same with Megatron, but it doesn't work out naturally. Whereas Megatron sees power in cogs, in machinery, Optimus sees power in intention and connection. Another brilliant choice the film makes is making the Decepticons Sentinel's former high guard. They're largely useless cowards until someone with a drive and purpose enters the picture in Megatron. They are nothing more than directionless soldiers who oppose the current regime, but don't know how to fight back. They simply work from the shadows, take what they need, and then retreat. The only thing they believe in, which becomes Megatron's mantra, is the strength of one bot over another. On a lighter note, Bumblebee is a delight in this film. He's the golden retriever of the ensemble. Initially, he's just happy to have friends, but as he builds confidence and power within the group, he's so excited by every advance that you can't help but smile. I mean, it's a character that could be very annoying and grating on the surface, but his personality adds an interesting dynamic to the group. Now, while I clearly love this film and I think it's genuinely fantastic, I mean, it's got a couple issues, right? Like, I wish the introductory narration was a separate prologue because it would give us more time to have the realization that Pax is going to eventually become Optimus Prime. If you delay this realization a bit further, you can spend more time treating him as a Han Solo, Aladdin type like we see in the introduction. Instead, his endgame becomes a foregone conclusion. Similarly, with Megatron, it might have been more effective for him to discover the truth of Sentinel Prime on his own to make that beat feel more effective. Granted, it's a hard balance to strike. We know where things are going down. But I digress. Look, that's me waxing poetic about an animated Transformers film for like 20 minutes or so. Am I taking this a little too seriously? Maybe, but it's undeniably refreshing to see such a thoughtful approach to a property that I couldn't blame you for thinking had gone stale. It's rare that a film for kids is given such careful consideration at a script level, and we should be supporting films that will encourage studios to stop dumbing these franchises down. I want to see more of Josh Cooley's vision for the Transformers, and the only way to do that is if you support the film by buying a ticket or renting it on VOD. Trust me, for the first time in a long time, the Transformers film is more than meets the eye.
In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about legends from La Ciudad de Mexico. Yes, dude, Mexico City. Fun fact, that's actually where my parents are from. And I've been shit all my life for being from Mexico City. And to be honest, I never understood why. Because Mexico City, dude, it's fucking dope as fuck. When I tell you there are endless things to do in Mexico City, I mean it. There's a bunch of museums. There's La Casa de Frida Kahlo. There's El Bosque de Chapultepec. There's Xochimilco. There's La Basílica. There's El Centro. Dude, there are so many things. Like, it can go on. Pero pues, así es en Ciudad de México. Hay muchos lugares that are really fucking old, aka they're haunted. And something else that's kind of similar to LA is that a lot of celebrities, they live in Mexico City, aka Televisa is there. They film the novelas there, La Rosa de Guadalupe, you name it. So I'm going to be covering some legends that are honestly creepy as fuck. Also, can I hear a little commotion for the background? Because shout out to Adan. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have been able to do this. Like, this was all Adan. I really wanted to have my background for my birthday. So, of course, while I talk to you about these legends, I'm going to be doing my makeup. So whether you're going to get ready, chill, drive, whatever you're gonna do, get ready to hear all about these legends from La Ciudad de Mexico because they're creepy as fuck. So the first legend that I'm going to be covering is called La Mujer Sonriente del Metro. Imagine you're taking the metro late at night going back home because yes, a lot of people do take the metro since they don't have cars. I don't know if you've noticed, like when you watch shows like in La Rosa de Guadalupe or in novelas, there's a lot of taxis everywhere. A lot of people, they take cabs or if not, they take the metro. The reason for that is because some people are going through it. They don't have the funds for a Bolt. Dude, the traffic in Mexico City is a fucking pain in the ass. If you think that the traffic in LA is bad, no, Mickey. ahorita, eso no es nada. Because in Mexico City, oh dude, it's bad right there. And in New York too. La gente no se mueve. They don't listen to the stop signs or none of that shit. Like, people do not give a fuck. Pero bueno, esta historia la han contado personas that take the metro back home late at night. Y dicen que miran a una señora sonriente. It's fucking creepy, dude. Apparently, they see this lady from afar, and she's just staring at them, smiling at them. Dicen que está vestida como de los tiempos de antes. Some people have said that she has gray hair, pero que persigue a las personas. I don't know, apparently many people have claimed to see this lady. And not only this lady, they also claim to see a man on the metro that looks like a dummy doll. I don't know if people have a big imagination, but this one's so creepy. There's so many strange things that people have experienced riding the metro at night after a long day at work. People even claim to be dropped off in a different dimension. With that being said, would you ride the metro at night? I know, porque yo me cago ahí en el metro. I just wonder who can these people be? Because unfortunately, there has been on the metro y han pasado muchas cosas extrañas, muchas cosas asquerosas también. If you know, you know. Trust me when I tell you that the metro there is a humbling experience. My parents took me on the metro. They took me all the way to Tepito because they were like, no, para que los niños vean how lucky they are in the U.S. Y yo ahí iba en el metro, dude. And it is fucking scary. There's a lot of weird men. Weird, disgusting men. And yeah, that's one of the reasons porque el feminicidio está bien alto también. Dude, when I heard about it, it just tripped me out. Like, I read it, like, la señora sonriente del metro, I was like, no mames. I just pictured a lady sitting down all the way in the other side of el metro, looking at me like that. Ay, no, dude, yo me cago.
Shit.
Another legend that I want to talk to you about is la de Jesús Sin Hogar. This story, I heard it on the channel Creepy Set. Dude, he has good ass stories. So it's basically about a couple that was out y fueron al Zócalo de la Ciudad de México. Eran como las 8 de la noche. They decided to just go walk around, hang out some more. It's really nice around there, honestly. A lot of people as fuck. Something else that's kind of similar to LA is that a lot of celebrities, they live in Mexico City. They take Televisa is there all day, films and novelas there, La Rosa de Guadalupe. I'm going to be covering some legends that are honestly creepy as fuck. Also, if you a couple just for the night, if it weren't for me, like this was all I wanted to have my background for my birthday. So, of course, while I talk to you about these legends, I'm going to be doing my makeup. So whether you're going to get ready, chill, drive, whatever you're going to do, get ready to hear all about these legends from La Ciudad de Mexico because they're creepy as fuck. So the first legend that I'm going to...
Your stir party is right here. Can't you get fucking Snoop Dogg to revive me, bro? Man him to revive me.
Finish his ass off.
Be covering is called La Mujer Sonriente del Metro. Imagine you're taking the metro late at night going back home because, yes, a lot of people do take the metro since they don't have cars. I don't know if you've noticed, like when you watch shows like in La Rosa de Guadalupe or in novelas, there's a lot of taxis everywhere. A lot of people, they take cabs, or if not, they take the metro. And the reason for that is because, you know, some people are going through it, they don't have the funds for a car. Pero también es el tráfico. Dude, the traffic in Mexico City is a fucking pain in the ass. If you think that the traffic in LA is bad, oh no, mijita, eso no es nada. Because in Mexico City, oh dude, it's bad right there. And in New York too. La gente no se mueve. They don't listen to the stop signs or none of that shit. Like, people do not give a fuck. Pero bueno, esta historia la han contado personas that take the metro back home late at night. Y dicen que miran a una señora sonriente. It's fucking creepy, dude. Apparently, they see this lady from afar. She's just staring at them, smiling at them. Dicen que está vestida como de los tiempos de antes. Some people have said that she has gray hair, pero que persigue a las personas. I don't know, apparently many people have claimed to see this lady. Not only this lady, they also claim to see a man on the metro that looks like a dummy doll. I know people have a big imagination, but this sounds so creepy. There's so many strange things that people have experienced riding the metro after a long day at work. People even claim to be dropped off in a different dimension. With that being said, would you ride the metro at night? Ay, no, dude, porque yo me cago ahí en el metro. I just wonder who can these people be. Because unfortunately, there has been on the metro y han pasado muchas cosas extrañas, muchas cosas asquerosas también. If you know, you know. Trust me when I tell you that the metro there is a humbling experience. My parents took me on the metro. They took me all the way to Tepito because they were like, no, para que los niños vean how lucky they are in the U.S. Y yo ahí iba en el metro, dude. And it is fucking scary. There's a lot of weird men. Weird, disgusting men. And Yeah, that's one of the reasons porque el feminicidio está bien alto también. Dude, when I heard about it, it just tripped me out. Like I just pictured a lady sitting down all the way in the other side of el metro looking at me like that. Ay, no, dude, yo me cago.
Let me see my agenda. Buffalo, right?
Another legend that I want to talk to you about is la de Jesús sin hogar. This story, I heard it on the channel Creepy Stan. Dude, he has good ass stories. So it's basically about a couple that was out y fueron al Zócalo de la Ciudad de México. Eran como las 8 de la noche. They decided to just go walk around, hang out some more. It's really nice around there, honestly. A lot of people just go walk around to look at the buildings. Porque the architecture, because the buildings are just so iconic. But dude, they were walking around and they saw someone walking from far. And they did get a little freaked out because it was late at night. You know, their first thought was, oh, it's probably a homeless or a crackhead, or you know how it is when you walk at night. You always have your guard up. Y seguían caminando and they felt like if this person was staring at them. And well, guess what? They eventually got close to where the person was, and they saw that the person sat down on a bench. So they were like, okay, I guess we're gonna pass by this person. And dude, when they got close to the bench, they realized it was a statue. No mames. They iconic, but dude, they were walking around and they saw someone walking from far. And they did get a little freaked out because it was late at night. You know, their first thought was, oh, it's probably a homeless or a crackhead, or you know how it is when you walk at night. You always have your guard up. Y seguían caminando and they felt like if this person was staring at them. And well, guess what? They eventually got close to where the person was, and they saw that the person sat down on a bench. So they were like, okay, I guess we're gonna pass by this person. And dude, when they got close to the bench, they realized it was a statue. No mames. They realized it was a statue of Jesus. Era noche, and they decided to just go walk around, hang out some more. It's really nice around there, honestly. A lot of people just go walk around to look at the buildings. Porque the architecture, because the buildings are just so iconic. But dude, they were walking around. They saw someone walking from far. They did get a little freaked out because it was late at night. You know, their first thought was, oh, it's probably a homeless or a crackhead, or you know how it is when you walk at night. You always have your guard up. Y seguían caminando and they felt like if this person was staring at them. And well, guess what? They eventually got close to where the person was, and they saw that the person sat down on a bench. So they were like, okay, I guess we're gonna pass by this person. And dude, when they got close to the buildings, porque the architecture, because the buildings are just so iconic. But dude, they were walking around. They saw someone walking from far. And they did get a little freaked out because it was late at night. Their first thought was, oh, it's probably a homeless or a crackhead, or you know how it is when you walk at night, you always have your guard up. Y seguían caminando and they felt like if this person was staring at them. And well, guess what? They eventually got close to where the person was, and they saw that the person sat down on a bench. So they were like, okay, I guess we're gonna pass by this person. Dude, when they got close to the bench, when you walk at night, you always have your guard up. Y seguían caminando and they felt like if this person was staring at them. And well, guess what? They eventually got close to where the person was, and they saw that the person sat down on a bench. So they were like, okay, I guess we're gonna pass by this person. Dude, when they got close to the bench, they realized it was a statue. No mames. Us. And they saw that the person sat down on a bench. So they were like, okay, I guess we're gonna pass by this person. Dude, and well, guess what? They eventually got close to where the person was, and they saw that the person sat down on a bench. So they were like, okay, I guess we're gonna pass by this person. Dude, when they got close to the bench, they realized it was a statue. No mames. They realized it was a statue of Jesus. Era la estatua que se llama Jesús sin hogar. And it's basically a bench que se mira como antigua, and it's
How the fuck you get up there? Are they real? Get your ass in here. The fuck am I gonna get up there? Traps. That was all those fucking faggots. I can't pick that shit up. You pick it up. I am notorious fool. Not about to drop my fucking sniper. Hold on, get out the fucking car. Get out the car. Let's try something. Hold on. The fuck? I saw somewhere that you can make this fucking wheel as high as fuck.
Jesus laying down with a blanket. I think it's like a representation of the homeless, but I'm not too sure. I read about it once, pero la neta se me olvidó. Les voy a poner una foto aquí para que la vean. But dude, it was that. Because we saw the statue get up and walk, and then sit down on the bench again. Creepier, dude. Shortly after that, the couple kept walking.
6 people left. Lock the fuck in. I need my victory umbrella. Chill, bro. Play it safe. Like, run us into some fucking action. Five people left. Lock in. Lock the fuck in. Oh shit. Took his teammate out. Oh my god. I can't even get up there, you fucking dumbass. Gotta reboot your fucking ass quickly. Not gonna win this shit by myself. Sacrificing my fucking shield.
Hey. No, dude. And to be honest, I find this story quite creepy because, like, I don't want to sound like a dick. I love God. I feel like I have a really good relationship with God. But, a veces las estatuas, cuando se miran tristes, no sé por qué, no me quiero escuchar culera, pero dan miedo. La neta dan miedo. So this story creeped me out. Y pues, other people claim that they've seen this. Statue walking late at night at El Zócalo. But what do you think? Do you think que nomás están pedos y se alucinan? Or like, what if it was a homeless and like, I don't know, the homeless just went another way and they got confused that it was the statue? I don't know, dude. I don't know, but I do not want to see that ever. Porque, like I said, yo amo a Diosito, pero eso no es de Dios. Hell no. Like, why is the statue walking late at night? Y esta es la leyenda de la rata gigante que está por Indios Verdes. This is crazy. So basically, people have claimed that they've seen a giant rat. Una rata gigante, like the size of a human. I wish I could interview these people. Like, ain't no way y'all really saw that. That's crazy. They would apparently see this giant rat late at night. I thought it was pretty crazy that people have different versions of this story. Some people say that it's a bunch of rats stuck together in the shape of a human. It has a name, dude. I forgot what it's called. Let me look it up. Rat monster stuck name. A ver qué me sale. Oh my god, dude, it looks so disturbing. Oh my god, it's called the Rat King. I think it's called the Rat King. So yeah, apparently people thought it was named. A ver qué me sale. Oh my god, dude, it looks so disturbing. Oh my god, it's called the Rat King. I think it's called the Rat King. So yeah, apparently people thought it was a Rat King. I've never even thought about that. Oh my god, I miss when I didn't know about this because I did not need this information. Some people thought it was that. Other people thought it was a Nahual, a person that could transform into an animal. Then there's other people that think it's a guy that lived in the sewer so long that he turned into a rat. And then other people thought it was a capybara que se escapó del mercado de Sonora. That's a whole other creepy story, especially porque mucha gente dice que ahí venden muchos animales exóticos para hacer brujería. Dude, I feel so bad if that's the case. And there was a poor cappy roaming around the streets of La Ciudad de Mexico. Oh my god. Those are my favorite animals, by the way. This legend got pretty huge that they even covered it on Al Extremo. They interviewed people and they were like, sí, hemos visto la rata gigante, o personas que yo conozco ya la han visto. They also shared a video where they say that you can see the rat. So let's take a look at it.
Un video que subió un usuario a redes sociales del supuesto hombre rata del metro de Indios Verdes.
Dude, as much as I loved when TV shows would cover paranormal things or legends or myths and shit like that, I will never believe those pixelated ass videos. Like, you really can't see it. Like, why am I gonna lie? Do I believe in shit like this? Yes, pero la neta, se mira bien chafa. Dude, and the person in the interview, dice que escucharon que se comió un perro.
Llegaron a decir que llegaron a ver a esta rata llevando en el hocico a perros pequeños de los cuales se alimentaban.
Oh my god. I'm gonna be using the style treat. Dude, these are so cute with the orange on the outer corners. My spooky lash collection is already out, so if you haven't gotten your hands on them, go get them, dude. What are you waiting for? It'll mean the world to me. Now, this next legend takes place in a theater. This theater is really popular in la Ciudad de Mexico, and it's called El Teatro Fru. They say that in this theater there's a statue, y la neta, esa estatua parece el pinche diablo. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a statue of a man with horns, and they say that actors, before they perform, they leave candy on the statue, así como si fuera una ofrenda, y que si le dejan dulces a la estatua, les va bien in su performance. And if they don't leave candy for it, well, dude, you already know. Les va mal. Apparently, shit goes wrong. Y que aparte los espantan backstage. That theater, dude, it's haunted and have experienced paranormal activity. Y pues sí, se mira así como de antes, kind of like the Chinese theater. Dude, I've gone to events in the Chinese theater, and I love that theater. I've heard it's haunted too, but it's so dope. It's because I love old buildings, dude. I think they're so beautiful. And like I've said before, like all the memories that took place there, it makes me feel so lucky to be there. And dude, they also say that in that theater, when the actors perform, that they've seen a man with a top hat sitting down. And I thought it was pretty crazy that a lot of actors claim to see the man with the top hat. Because, dude, when you're on stage, sí puedes ver a las personas, but it looks kind of blurry. I've been on stage, so like I just imagine seeing that, and I feel like that would be so creepy. Like if you've been on stage, I feel like you can picture that, and you're like, okay, yeah, that would be really fucking creepy. Dude, my bangs grew so fast. I'm gonna have to cut them again. Dude, and also lurked on their Instagram, and I saw this. I was like, damn, they take pride in the Diablito statue. That's creepy. Yeah, guys, this is how my makeup came out. What do we think? It's something kind of simple because I feel like the lashes make the look because of the orange. I feel like I don't need to do too much. As soon as I put on the lashes, it's already giving spooky princess. So, la neta, I don't need to do too much. And yeah, guys, it's for today's video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you can get notified for the next time I post. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Honest man, you guys have read the title. You know the drill at this point.
Steven.
Well, guys, I would say it's good to be back, but I'm an honest man. You guys have read the title. You know the drill at this point. We are once again visiting the Darman channel to check out a video that, you guessed it, goes against literally every single thing that Darman claims to be about. I know, shocker. Now, as we've established for quite some time at this point, Darman has pretty much mastered the art of putting out certified stinkers. He's been able to take what used to be 6 to 8 minute long sketches that do not reflect reality whatsoever and turn them in.
Let's rush. 3, 2, 1. Hurry, get you fucking ass. What the fuck is that? Arnold Strosh? That Arnold guy? Is that the fucking Terminator? What the fuck? You're so fucking garbage.